Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum. Okay. How are you? I hope all of you fine. Stay healthy. Stay at home. Stay happy. And yeah, lama tak jumpa awak ni. Lama. We have a long weekend. We have a long holidays. Cuti kita panjang. Yeah. So because of we have a long holidays, now we have a class. Whether we cannot go to the school to have a school session like usual, kita tak boleh pergi sekolah untuk buat kelas macam biasa, but somehow this is our initiative to make sure the learning process is continue. Kita punya pembelajaran tu, proses pembelajaran masih berjalan, even though I stay at my home, you stay at your home. And with the technology that we have today, Alhamdulillah, we can have a class like this. I think this is the first time for me to have this kind of online teaching. So I have to fit myself into this medium. Because all of you know that we have a class start dekat depan, sampai nampak awak semua tengah berdiri, tengah ambil buku, but in this video I cannot see you, but I have to imagine that in front of me there is a lot of students that listen to my lessons. There are some students that write my notes, and inshallah I will do my best and I will explain my best to make sure all of you understand my topic. Okay, but before we proceed to our lessons, I want to make sure that all of you sit down properly. Semua kena duduk betul. Walaupun awak semua sekarang ni tengah menghadap laptop ke, menghadap tablet ke, menghadap awak punya phone ke, make sure you sit down properly. Mana yang meniarap tu bangun. Mana yang yang berbaring ke apa, bangun. We have to make sure our adab to the knowledge. This is the sign that we have a good adab. Kita ada adab yang baik. So Ustaz nak semua bangun, duduk betul-betul. Duduk betul-betul. Kalau lenguh sangat, sandar. Kalau languh sangat, tak larat, sandar. Okay, now start our lesson with doa. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Allahumma aftah alaina hikmataka wa anshur alaina min khazaini rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin. Okay. Let's recite surah Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Selawat. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay. As all of you know, my first question before we start our learning is, did you perform solat subuh at your home? Awak solat subuh tak kat rumah awak? Make sure you perform your 5 daily prayers. This is the correct time. This is the perfect time to perform Jamaah prayer with your family. Make sure you perform your 5 daily prayers without miss. You don't have any excuses. You don't have any reason to miss the solat. Awak kat rumah hanya, bukan awak pergi Planet Pluto ke, awak pergi naik bas, pergi Kedah ke, no. You just stay at your home. Bangun tidur makan. Bangun tidur makan. Make sure you perform your 5 daily prayers without miss. Ustaz, saya terlupa ke apa, Ustaz tembak awak tadi. No. Terlupa apa punya, awak dekat rumah je. Tak ada terlupa. Make sure you perform your 5 daily prayers. Okay. Now, settle. Okay. Now, for this lesson, I want to teach you about Sirah. About Sirah. What is the Sirah? Sirah is the story. So when it comes to the Sirah, it is the story time. Now, my question, what is the last topic that we learn in Sirah? Tajuk apa yang tajuk terakhir kita untuk belajar Sirah ni? The last topic that we learn in Sirah is Badar War. Perang Badar. Ingat, Perang Badar. That is the last topic. Okay, we revise a little bit about Perang Badar. Perang Badar actually is not a war. If you remember, actually Perang Badar is not a war. We all know that the properties, the Muslims' belongings, barang-barang orang Mekah, barang-barang orang Islam tu kan berhijrah pergi ke Madinah. So barang-barang tu, that stuff, that their belongings, Quraish or kafir Quraish want to sell all of them. Barang-barang orang Islam dekat Madinah ni, orang Mekah nak jual. Sebab dia orang tinggal, ini orang Islam ni kan daripada Mekah, jalan-jalan dia hijrah ke Madinah. So dia tinggal barang-barang dia dekat Mekah. They left their belongings, their stuffs at Mekah. So there's these Quraysh people, these kafir Quraysh people feel that we have to sell their belongings. When we sell their belongings, we get the money. So they want to sell the money. They want to sell the belongings. Kemudian in the journey, dalam perjalanan dia orang nak jual tu, kita tahu Rasulullah know that. There is kafir Quraish want to sell all of your belongings. Stop them. Pergi berhentikan mereka. So Muslim ni pun, some of the Muslim go and at the first place want to stop the the group. Nak hentikan tu daripada pergi jual tu. Orang Islam ni datang nak, daripada datang dia datang ni. So dia orang nak stop, jangan pergi. Tapinya bila dia pergi, orang ni ingat this kafir Quraish think that Muslim want to have a war with them. Dia kata apa benda ni, orang Islam datang je. Dia pun lari balik Mekah and tell the kafir Quraish that Muslim want to we are in dangerous position. And kafir Quraish cakap, let's have a war. And you know, and the rest is history. They have a Badar War, and we all know that Muslims win in that war, Perang Badar. Semua kita dah tahu apa yang berlaku dengan Perang Badar. The helps that come from Allah. Allah send His malaikat to help the Muslim in the Perang Badar. We all know that story. So now, this is the revenge time. Ini adalah masa untuk orang Quraish balas dendam. Now, I want to tell you the story of Perang Uhud. Perang Uhud. Because we all know that when kafir Quraish ni, bila kafir Quraish ni, they went back to their Mecca and they feel very shy. How come 1,000 army can lose with the 313 army? Macam mana 1,000 orang ni, dia boleh kalah dengan 300 orang. And they feel very shy. Dia malu, macam mana malu. And they went back to the Mecca and they told that we have to make the revenge. Kita kena balas dendam. Macam mana pun kita kena balas dendam. So Allah Akbar. So diringkaskan cerita. In a summary, I summarize the story. Quraysh want to have war. They want to attack the Muslim. Nak pergi, nak serang. Dia kata mana boleh kalah. Even though that some of the Quraysh at Mecca, maybe they have their business. Some of these businessmen did not want to go to sell their things because of their shy. Dia orang kalah tadi tu. Bila dia orang kalah, dia orang rasa malu nak pergi jual barang. Dia orang tak nak pergi jual sebab dia orang semalu sangat. Punyalah sampai until that level, they feel that, oh, what happened to us? Dia orang rasa macam, apa benda ni, kita dah kalah ni. Mana kita nak letak muka kita, nak letak bawah meja ke, nak letak belakang laptop ke, tak tahu. Tak boleh. Ini punya cerita, tak boleh. We cannot continue our life like this. We have to take the revenge. Kita kena balas dendam. Ingat, balas dendam tak baik. Islam tak ajar kita untuk balas dendam. Okay, so now all of the people, the Quraysh, kafir Quraysh people gather a lot of army as much as they can. Dia orang kumpulkan tentera dia orang ni to fight back Muslims in Madinah. Waktu tu orang Quraisy dah kumpulkan siapa yang nak pergi berperang ni, let's go. Kita nak pergi perang, kita nak lawan balik orang Islam tu waktu tu. We want to fight back. Rasulullah know this story. Rasulullah know this news. Rasulullah tahu, oh, orang Quraisy, orang kafir nak balas dendam. Rasulullah know that. And as all of you know, Rasulullah called for a meeting. Rasulullah called for a meeting, or in Arabic we call it as shura. Shura in Arabic means meeting. Rasulullah called for the meeting. Rasulullah panggil meeting. Wahai sahabat-sahabat, wahai kawan-kawan, all of my companions, oh my sahabat. Macam mana ni? Kita nak buat macam mana? Can you give your opinions? How we want to face these situations? Kafir Quraisy are ready to attack us now. So either we have to stay in Madinah or want to fight back. I call you for a meeting because of we have to discuss together. Some of the Muslims that did not go to the perang Badar. Setengah orang Islam yang dia tak pergi ke perang Badar tu, setengah orang Islam yang dia tak pergi ke perang Badar tu, they told Rasulullah, they speak to Rasulullah, oh Rasulullah, we want to go war, we want to have a war with them. Kami nak pergi perang dengan dia orang. Sebab apa? Sebab dulu dia orang tak sempat. Dia orang tak sempat nak pergi ke perang Badar. So they told Rasulullah, oh Rasulullah, we want a war. Kami nak ada perang. Rasulullah diam. Because before that, Rasulullah had a dream. Rasulullah ada mimpi. Rasulullah mimpi there is a sign that ada benda yang tak berapa nak baik berlaku. Rasulullah mimpi ada satu benda, Rasulullah mimpi yang ada petanda, oh, there is something not right will happen. Ada satu benda yang akan terjadi. So Rasulullah rasa berat. Macam mana kita ni, macam mana nak pergi perang ke tak perang? So Rasulullah have a dream. Rasulullah ingat, Rasulullah will receive the petunjuk. Rasulullah akan dapat petunjuk daripada Allah. So one of the petunjuk, kan petunjuk lah kan, kan, is he got a dream, and the dream is, oh, something will not good happen. Maksudnya ada benda yang tak baik. And then after the sahabat tell the Rasulullah, we want to go to war, Rasulullah stand up and go wear his baju perang. Rasulullah bangun, Rasulullah terus pergi pakai baju perang. Rasulullah kata, okay, kalau macam tu kita pergi perang. And that sahabat, dia rasa bersalah. Dia rasa sebab yang cakap kata kami nak pergi perang tu, tiba-tiba dia rasa bersalah. Betul ke kita ni Rasulullah, betul ke ni? Dia rasa macam, they think that they make a mistake to Rasulullah. Dia rasa macam dia buat satu benda yang tak elok dekat Rasulullah sebab dia cakap macam tu. So they try to persuade Rasulullah. Dia try nak pergi pujuk Rasulullah. Ya Rasulullah, tak apalah Rasulullah, kalau tak nak, if you don't want to go to the war, it's okay, we just follow you. Tak apalah Rasulullah, kalau tak nak pergi tak apa. Kata tak apalah, macam mana. But listen to the answer of Rasulullah. Rasulullah said that when a prophet wear his baju perang, bila seseorang Nabi tu pakai baju perang, dia tak akan buka dah. Maksudnya apa? Bila seseorang Nabi dia dah pakai baju perang, maksudnya dia akan terus pergi perang. Dia takkan tak apalah. Dia macam pakai baju perang tapi tiba-tiba ada orang datang pujuk Rasulullah. Oh ya ke? Tak nak ke? Tak nak tak apa. Saya buka je lah. No. Rasulullah bukan macam tu. Rasulullah bila dia kata, okay, keputusan kita, we want to have a war. Okay, Rasulullah pakai baju perang nak pergi. Maksudnya Rasulullah is ready. Rasulullah ready to face the war. Rasulullah bersedia untuk perang. So bila sahabat tadi tu pujuk Rasulullah, tak apalah, tadi kami tersilap. No. Rasulullah kata, aku dah pakai baju perang, kita pergi perang. Oh, that is Rasulullah. Because kenapa? If you think, why these people it's very what you call, kenapa diorang nak sangat pergi perang Uhud? Siapa ingat kenapa? Kenapa orang ni rasa nak pergi juga perang Uhud ni? Okay, if you remember, what is the advantage of the soldier of Badar? Apa advantage orang yang pergi perang Badar? For five intisa, I'm sure that Ustaz Afif already explained to you about the perang Badar. But this question, I already taught five intisa, because the advantage, apa kelebihan orang yang pergi perang Badar ni, dia ada kelebihan dia yang mana tak ada kat orang lain. Apa dia? Okay. The advantage of perang the soldier of Badar is Allah will forgive all of their sins, either past, present or the future. Maksudnya apa? Orang yang pergi perang Badar ni, Allah ampunkan semua dosa dia. Allah ampunkan semua dosa dia, yang dulu, yang sekarang dan yang akan datang. Maksudnya Allah akan ampunkan dosa dia. That is the privilege. That is the privilege of the soldier of Badar. Amin. Okay. Itu adalah privilege. Keistimewaan tentera Badar. So that sahabat, some of the sahabat say, oh, rugilah tak dapat join perang Badar. So they want to have a war. Okay. Ringkaskan cerita, they choose Bukit Uhud. They choose Uhud as their tempat peperangan. Orang Quraisy and orang Muslim fight at Bukit Uhud. Actually perang Uhud war, Uhud tu is a hill. Dia adalah Bukit Uhud. I repeat, perang Uhud tu diambil sempena nama Bukit Uhud. Okay, faham Okay, now until that point. Okay, I will summarize the story. Nanti panjang kalau Ustaz cerita macam mana, siapa panglima dia, itu panjang lagi macam mana Rasulullah pilih tu. That is very detailed in the Uhud war. Okay, but insyaAllah I will explain maybe next time, insyaAllah. Okay, so when Muslims and Quraisy meet at Uhud, sekarang ni kita nak perang. Nak perang ni, Rasulullah have his own strategy. Remember, Rasulullah is the general. Even though he is the prophet, he also a general in war. Rasulullah ni, walaupun dia Nabi, selain daripada dia terangkan pasal Islam, dia juga Rasulullah ni pandai dalam strategi perang. Rasulullah ni bijak dalam strategi perang. So Rasulullah buat apa? What is Rasulullah's strategy? Rasulullah said that to some of the Muslims, what we call at the archery team. Archery team. Rasulullah pilih pasukan pemanah. Rasulullah tell this archery team, bukan pergi archery MSSD ya, tak ada. This archery team, Rasulullah said that, oh archery team, awak semua ni kumpulan-kumpulan pemanah. Awak ni yang pandai tembak. I appoint you, I give you a task. The task is, you have to stay at the top of the Uhud. Awak kena duduk dekat atas bukit Uhud tu, and you never go, you cannot go down if anything happen. Duduk je kat atas tu. Tak payah nak pergi ke mana. Duduk saja dekat atas tu. Even though we won that battle, even though we win the battle, even though we lost the battle, make sure you stay at the hill. Pasalkan duduk je. Kalau contoh kubab, okay, katakan bukit kan. Bukit, kumpulan pemanah tu duduk kat atas ni. Jangan duduk turun, lari, duduk main lari. No. Stay je kat atas tu. Okay. Stay je kat atas tu. And then the war begin. Lawan. Lawan. And then at the dia ada seorang okay. During that war, at the first place, Muslims, tentera Islam won the battle. Tentera Islam menang acara tu lah, perang tu. When that bila dah menang, so macam bila dah menang, so all of the Quraysh ni dia lari balik sebab nak lawan. Bila lawan, kalah, so lari balik. So when all of this Quraysh went back to their base, dia nak patah balik sebab dia tak boleh lawan orang Islam. Orang Islam kuat waktu tu. Patah balik. Muslims think that, orang kafir Quraish dah lari balik. Kita menang. And then what happened after that? That archery team, kumpulan pemanah yang duduk dekat atas ni tu, dia nampak. Imagine that if you stand up on top of the hill, bila awak duduk dekat, katakan ustaz duduk atas kepalingan, dia berdiri kat atas kepala ni kan, so you can see all of the view. Awak akan nampak semua view dekat sebelah tu. Betul? Itu kalau sebab awak duduk kat atas. So the archery team, when they stay at the top of the hill, they can see the situation, the current situation war. Dia nampak apa berlaku. Dia nampak orang-orang semua tengah lari. Dan dia nampak ada harta-harta yang tinggal. Maksudnya harta-harta ni, bila diorang datang perang, ada barang-barang yang diorang tinggal. So bila barang-barang yang diorang tinggal ni, maksudnya sebab lari kan, takkan nak lari, nak bawa beg semua. Dia lari selamatkan diri. Orang kafir ni lari selamatkan diri. So dia tinggal barang-barang diorang dekat situ. So this archery team, they think that, orang kafir Quraisy already went back to their Mekah. Okay, kali ni kami nak turun, nak pergi ambil barang-barang tu. And this story, this tragic history happened. Bila diorang turun tu, when they run and want to collect all of the properties, diorang nak ambil harta-harta tu, some of the sahabat scream at them, "Oh archery team, don't come down. Rasulullah did not allow you to come down. Rasulullah pesan dah, jangan turun." Diorang pun lari, turun. And say that, don't go down, do not come. You just stay at the top of the hill. Rasulullah command us like that. Dia pun lari, turun. So bila dah turun, siapa tinggal kat atas ni? Nampak? Saudara turun. Rupa-rupanya bijak juga orang Quraisy ni. This Quraisy team actually have their own strategy. They have a secret team that hide behind the hill. Sebenarnya ada satu kumpulan, dia sembunyi dekat belakang bukit. Kau tak nampak dia sembunyi dekat belakang tu. Dia tunggu je bila dia nak keluar. So when the archery team go down, the archery team go down to collect all of the properties. These teams that lead by Khalid Al-Walid. During this time, Khalid Al-Walid still did not embrace Islam. Waktu ni Khalid Al-Walid tak masuk Islam lagi. Khalid Al-Walid tunggu. Dia tunggu. Orang Islam pun turun. Turun. Ni yang dia orang tengah sembunyi kat belakang ni, dia orang take over. Yang tengah sembunyi kat belakang ni, dia orang take over naik kat atas balik. Bayangkan orang Islam nampak kan, dia orang turun. So dekat sini, at the top of the hill, there is lack of people. So this Khalid Al-Walid team, dia nak balik. They kill all of they invade, dia tawan bukit ni, dia lawan balik, dia serang balik. So yang mana orang-orang kafir tadi tu yang lari, dia orang patah balik. Because of during that time, the situation in the Muslim soldier become chaos. Waktu tu orang Islam dah macam ada chaos. Apa benda ni? Yang patah balik, yang orang kafir yang lari tadi tu patah balik. Khalid Al-Walid serang daripada atas, habis. Waktu tu memang a lot of Muslims syahid in this war. Ramai orang waktu perang Uhud meninggal, syahid. Sebab chaos situation. Yeah. Remember, Rasulullah already told them to follow his strategy. When Quraysh attack back and they attack the Muslim soldier, habis semua. Tengah-tengah chaos tu habis semua. Bila dia habis semua tu, termasuklah including Rasulullah. And during that time, Rasulullah was attacked. Rasulullah kena serang bertubi-tubi. Disebabkan semua kebanyakannya soldier Muslim ni dah tak duduk position asal. So Rasulullah kena attack. And some of the companion, some of the sahabat jadi benteng kepada Rasulullah. And if you want to know, Rasulullah during the attack, bila orang dah serang Rasulullah, Rasulullah dikatakan terjatuh dalam satu perangkap ataupun satu lubang yang dibuat oleh orang Quraisy. Bila Rasulullah jatuh, patah gigi Rasulullah. When Rasulullah fell down into that hole, patah ni gigi Rasulullah. Imagine that Rasulullah faced this situation. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad SAW faced that chaos situation. Rasulullah was attacked, kena serang, terjatuh dan patah gigi Rasulullah. And at that time, most of the kafir Quraisy said that, oh, Muhammad already died. Orang kafir Quraisy ni cakap apa? Habislah, Muhammad dah mati. Waktu tu Nabi Muhammad akan serang. Dia orang kata, they said that Prophet Muhammad already died. But they forget that we have Allah. Allah always protect Prophet Muhammad. And even though Prophet Muhammad get a serious injury, but Rasulullah saved in that chaos situation. Rasulullah selamat. Dan sahabat-sahabat yang nampak pun, when kafir Quraisy cakap Nabi Muhammad dah meninggal, Nabi Muhammad dah mati, orang Muslim semua dah down. Oh, Nabi Muhammad dah meninggal. Tapi disebabkan nampak macam tu, sahabat-sahabat yang nampak Rasulullah ni masih lagi hidup, they shout, oh, Muhammad still alive, our Prophet still alive. Dan lepas tu, orang Muslim pun patah balik. Orang semua patah balik ke tempat asal. And this Uhud war, Muslim lost. In this Uhud war. Orang Islam kalah dekat perang Uhud. You think why we lost in this Uhud war? Kita kena ingat satu benda. Whoever that did not follow Rasulullah footsteps, Rasulullah's command, Rasulullah action, Sesiapa yang tak ikut tindakan Rasulullah, siapa yang tak nak dengar cakap Rasulullah, he will fail in his life. Siapa yang tak dengar cakap Rasulullah, nasihat Rasulullah, dia akan gagal dalam kehidupan dia. That is the formula. Simple thing. Whoever that follow Rasulullah's advices, Rasulullah command, Rasulullah action, Rasulullah, semua yang Rasulullah buat, kalau kita ikut, we will success in our life. If don't, we will fail in our life. That is the formula. That is the thing, that is the lesson that we can learn from this Uhud war. Okay? Okay. InsyaAllah after this you will answer the question that I will make it special for you. And okay lah. That's all from me. Before that, I'm so sorry. I apologize to all of you because of I cannot have a live teaching session like some of the subject did before me. And because of currently I'm at my hometown. Sekarang ni Ustaz tengah duduk dekat kampung. Dekat kampung Ustaz. I have a quite weak internet connection. Dekat kampung Ustaz ni internet agak slow. I think it's not suitable for me to make a live teaching with all of you because of I don't want some of you when we have this teaching, when we have this live teaching, tiba-tiba terputus. Awak pun hello Ustaz, hello, duk hello. Ustaz dengar, tak dengar. 40 minit. When we come to 40 minutes, and then I say, oh okay, that's all class, that's all from me. You know, tak nak lah macam tu. So that's why I record this lesson earlier so that you can watch my lesson, you can get something from me, from my teachings, and to apply in your daily life. I'm so sorry, Ustaz hanya boleh rakam, kita tak ada live teaching, but the contents is there, benda tu ada dekat situ, and I hope that all of you will learn something. Okay, that's all from me. May Allah bless all of you. Send my regards to your parents. InsyaAllah we will meet after this, insyaAllah. Okay, that's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.